Welcome back to The Explainer. I'm so glad you're here today because we are about to embark on an absolutely incredible journey of scale. We're going to bridge this massive gap, traveling all the way from the cold, infinite vacuum of outer space directly into the hidden, deeply complex mechanics of the human mind. The universe is just packed with astonishing rules, and by taking a closer look at them today, we're going to completely rethink how we see our world and honestly, how we see ourselves. So, what on earth do black holes, wombat biology, and quiet people actually have in common? I know, it sounds like the setup to a really weird joke, doesn't it? But I promise you, there's a deliberate thread connecting all of this. We're going to start way out there at the absolute massive scale of the universe, zoom all the way down into the bizarre biology of our own planet, investigate the incredible machinery of the human body, and finally, arrive at the profound psychological power of the quietest people in the room. Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. We've got wonders of the cosmos, Earth and nature's secrets, the human machine, and finally, the psychology of silence. Section 1. Wonders of the cosmos, the silent and the massive. We're kicking things off way out on the extreme outer edges of the universe, where things behave just very, very strangely. You know how sci-fi movies love to show these giant, booming explosions echoing through the galaxy? Yeah, the reality of space basically ruins all of that. In reality, space is completely, totally silent. Sound needs a medium to travel through, like air or water. And because outer space is nearly a perfect vacuum, there is literally nothing to carry those sound waves. Even if a massive star went supernova and exploded right next to you, you wouldn't hear a single thing. You'd only see the incredible light. And speaking of things that just totally defy everyday logic, consider the number 243. That's the number of Earth days it takes for Venus to complete just one single rotation on its axis. But here's where it gets crazy. It only takes Venus 225 Earth days to orbit the Sun. Do the math on that. It means that on Venus, a single day is actually longer than its entire year. Imagine celebrating your birthday before the sun even sets once. It's wild. Which brilliantly illustrates our next cosmic wonder, the black hole. So a black hole forms when a massive star runs out of fuel and completely collapses under its own gravity. The gravity gets so intensely strong that it creates what's called an event horizon. This is the ultimate point of no return. Beyond that line, nothing, not even light itself, can escape. Scientists couldn't even see these things directly for the longest time. They only detected them by watching how nearby stars and gases got yanked around, right up until they finally captured the very first image of a black hole's shadow in 2019. Section 2. Earth and nature's secrets, the ground beneath and the life upon it. Now that we've wrapped our heads around those terrifying cosmic forces, let's zoom in a bit. Deep beneath our feet lies a world hot enough to melt solid rock right into magma. As that magma rises, trapped gases expand, and this intense underground pressure builds up until it just has to force its way upward, creating a violent volcanic eruption. But the crucial takeaway here isn't just the destruction. There's an incredible silver lining. These volcanic eruptions actually create brand new land. They enrich the soil for farming and release essential minerals that build entirely new, thriving ecosystems. Moving from the raw power of the earth to the downright weird oddities of nature, check out this botanical distinction that breaks everything we thought we knew about fruit. Scientifically speaking, a banana develops from a single flower with one ovary, which means it is classified as a true berry. A strawberry, on the other hand, develops from multiple ovaries, making it an aggregate fruit. So literally, a banana is a berry, but a strawberry isn't. Nature definitely does not care about our common sense. All right, let's rapid fire through 3 absolutely incredible facts. Number 1, sharks existed before trees. Sharks have survived for over 400 million years, dodging multiple mass extinctions, while the very first trees only showed up about 350 million years ago. Number 2, the Eiffel Tower literally grows taller. The intense heat of the summer sun causes the iron structure to expand, increasing its height by up to 15 centimeters. And number 3, honey never spoils. Thanks to its low moisture, natural acidity, and antibacterial properties, archaeologists have found pots of honey inside ancient Egyptian tombs that were over 3,000 years old. And get this, it was still perfectly edible. And nature's rule breakers definitely don't stop there. Take the adorable Australian wombat, which produces cube-shaped poop. Yeah, cubes. Their highly elastic intestines shape the droppings like that so they don't roll away, which is super useful for marking their territory. Then you have the octopus. It's rocking copper-based glue blood and 3 hearts. But the wildest part? When an octopus swims, its main systemic heart actually stops beating. That is exactly why these incredibly intelligent creatures prefer to just crawl along the ocean floor. Talk about a biological workaround. Section 3. The Human Machine, Biology and the Infrastructure We Build. Okay, we're leaving the animal kingdom and diving straight into us. Despite all the perceived physical differences between every person on Earth, humans share about 99.9% of our DNA. That tiny, mere 0.1% dictates everything from your eye color to your height to your unique health traits. It's just a fantastic reminder of how biologically united we really are. And part of that shared biology involves some automatic marvels you probably never even think about. For instance, the acid inside your stomach is literally strong enough to dissolve metal. The only reason it doesn't digest your own body is that every few days your body completely regenerates an entirely new stomach lining. It's this continuous, life-saving maintenance program happening on absolute autopilot. Speaking of maintenance programs, think about what happens when we sleep. Sleep isn't just about resting. It is vital for survival. While you're asleep, your brain is busy organizing memories, balancing hormones, and actively scrubbing away harmful waste proteins that are actually linked to diseases like Alzheimer's. Plus, it drastically strengthens your immune system. If you skip this maintenance and stay awake for 17 hours, your reaction time becomes impaired to the exact same level as someone under the influence of alcohol. For sure, do not mess with your sleep. Now, just as our internal biological wiring is complex, so is the global wiring we've built to connect our brains to one another. We often talk about the internet being up in the cloud, but more than 95% of international internet traffic actually travels thousands of kilometers through fiber optic cables laid directly on the bottom of the ocean. Your data breaks into tiny packets, travels as pulses of light globally, and reassembles instantly. Millions of bits of data racing at the speed of light underwater, literally just so you can watch a video. Section 4. The Psychology of Silence, the Loudest Minds. We started this explainer talking about the literal, physical silence of outer space. Now, let's bridge that over to the profound psychological power of human silence. Have you ever noticed that when someone is completely quiet, people almost always misjudge them? Our brains make these first impressions in less than a second. If someone's talking loudly, we just assume they're confident. If someone is silent, society often wrongly assumes they're insecure or maybe even arrogant. This is driven by cognitive biases known as the halo effect and the fundamental attribution error, which is basically judging a whole personality based on a tiny, limited piece of information. But the real truth? True confidence is often perfectly comfortable saying absolutely nothing. So, what is actually happening inside a quiet person's head? Well, a quiet mind isn't empty. It is heavily processing the room. Psychologists call this the observer's advantage. While everyone else is busy talking, the quiet person is evaluating body language, noticing nervous habits, and picking up on hidden emotions that the loudest talkers completely miss. Imagine a computer running 50 tabs all at once. That is a quiet person's brain. And because they're actively listening, rather than just preparing what they're going to say next, they retain those memories far better. Silence also acts as this incredibly powerful psychological tool. Have you ever noticed yourself leaning in when someone who rarely speaks finally opens their mouth? That is the curiosity gap in action. The human brain naturally craves missing information. When someone tells you everything right away, there's no mystery left. But when a person speaks carefully and sparingly, it creates a psychological craving. By speaking less, a quiet person makes their words incredibly rare, scarce, and suddenly as valuable as diamonds. This kind of restraint, it's a massive indicator of emotional intelligence. When someone insults you, the natural, knee-jerk impulse is to react instantly, right? To argue, to defend yourself. But taking a pause and remaining silent requires the prefrontal cortex to step in and literally regulate that emotion. It demonstrates an understanding that not every single battle is worth your energy. Knowing when not to react takes immense emotional control, and psychologists have found that this kind of emotional regulation actually outpaces raw intelligence when predicting long-term success. And that brings us perfectly to our final thought. From the completely silent vacuum of space to the quiet, deep processing of the human mind, we see that immense power doesn't always have to make a sound. The loudest person in the room is rarely the strongest. The strongest person is the one quietly watching, learning, and waiting for exactly the right moment to speak. Noise might attract attention, sure, but it is wisdom that earns respect. So the next time you encounter silence, whether you're looking up at the night sky or sitting across from a quiet mind, ask yourself, what are you missing by only listening for the loudest sound?